And welcome on back to another episode of Trapdoor to Hell. We are recording this a little bit early. This is Tuesday, April 26th. If you're listening to this, it'll be May 1st. So it's going to be May, as they say, and in sync. I got some great, and very excited podcast guests with me today. These two are the hosts of the FullyPoseable Wrestling Figure Podcast. Did I get that correct?
Dude, you sound like just like me.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but I do like it in Jeff's intro. He does it like so seamlessly. It's like I guarantee the first time he did it, he's probably practiced in front of a mirror over and over again, like a scene.
Okay. Truth be told, actually, it was when I was driving out to Tracy when our job was out there before we moved next to you guys. So I would just practice in my car, and that was it, man.
Awesome. So Jef and Scott, I'm glad you guys can make it on. I met Jeff, I don't even remember how we first started hitting it off talking, but he works, literally right next to me. We just got going, chopping it up in the back, found out a lot of common interests, found out he does a podcast, I do a podcast. And yours are a lot more, I think well known than mine, but yeah, you guys have been doing it for a long time. And I was like, dude, I think we have some overlapping stuff on. Would you guys come on? So glad to have you both here.
Our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
We're happy to be here. Man, we are really happy to be here.
Awesome. I wanted to start. I want you guys, in your own words, to describe, exactly what you guys do on your podcast. So anybody who wants to go listen can go listen, and they get a good insight from you, from the bird's mouth.
Scott, go ahead, man.
Oh, well, we pretty much just stick to wrestling figures. When we started doing this, there were so many wrestling podcasts out there. We wanted to kind of carve our own niche. And Jeff was like, dude, what about wrestling figures? We've collected them our entire lives. Let's just kind of stick to that. And that's where we ended up. We kind of stay in our lane. We do talk wrestling every now and then, if there's a big angle or something. But really, our bread and butter is wrestling figures. We started collecting pretty much in the LJN Remco era, all the way to current day. And, we've done nostalgia segments on LJN, Hasbro, Remco, Galoob, Jax, Mattel. We've got a listener segment where we do a lot of talking with the listeners. They send in weekly or bi-weekly questions. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun, dude. We're about 330 episodes in, not including special interviews and whatnot. And we just have a blast with it. We don't really pay attention to downloads. It's just kind of all about having fun between the two of us, and then having that just go to the listeners and then have them enjoy it too. We get a lot of feedback. So yeah, it's been an awesome 6.5 year ride.
Any addition to that, Jeff?
I do have to say, we do venture out into nostalgia stuff. We do talk He-Man, G.I. Joe, which, Scott, you attended the virtual Joe Fest today.
Well, yeah, I did late, but I'd like to give a shout out to Hasbro for that awesome Sergeant Slaughter figure. I can't wait till that thing hits pegs. But yeah, we did. We didn't normally talk about newer toys. And when we started kind of touching on that subject, the listeners responded really positively. And that just kind of became a running thing with the show, that we got feedback. It was a good thing. So we just kind of played into it more. And then wouldn't you know it, the nostalgia boom really kicks in, and G.I. Joe comes back and He-Man comes back. There's just been kind of this renaissance with 80s toys again. And it just timed well with the show, and people really enjoyed it.
Dude, it was crazy too. So Jeff told me, I went to your Twitter and I noticed a pinned tweet is that you guys did the Toys That Made Us, the Netflix show. Were you guys like actually on the show? Because first of all, I think they must have like done something to my algorithm, because I watched the whole first season and then all of a sudden I'm not getting it shown up anymore. So were you guys actually like on the show?
We were. So actually, thanks to the listeners, they got us on the show.
Really? That's awesome.
They blew up their Twitter, email. They blew up the Toys That Made Us all over the place. And they basically said, you guys need to have these guys on. So next thing you know, I'd say about 2 or 3 days later, we get an email, and guess what? They were like, hey, we want you guys on. So next thing you know, we're driving down to Burbank, California. We recorded for about 3 hours?
Yeah, it was about 3 hours. They weren't able to come out to either Jeff's or my house to do the recording. So we went to them. And again, like Jeff said, without the listeners making that happen, we wouldn't have been on the show. So they just, like Jeff said, they just had an outpouring of support. Toys That Made Us heard them, and we drove out there. Like Jeff said, we recorded for about 3 hours, and I think they used about 30 seconds.
I mean, whatever, it's still a really cool credit in that, like, they shouted you out, and that's the pin tweet, is you guys retweeting their tweet. Like, for me, that would be the world. I love the program, is really well done, and I think they do a good job. Like, I remember watching the He-Man, like we're talking about the He-Man episode and stuff like that, and having that, you guys talked about that nostalgia factor is really, really like kicking hard right now.
Big time.
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun, man. I mean, just being in the studios, I will say it's a lot different. The lights are just blistering hot. But you know what? We had such a great time just being in there for 4 hours shooting the stuff on wrestling figures. And like Scott said, we only were in there, 30 seconds, dude? Like,
yeah, and the
episode?
weirdest thing too was they would ask you a question and you would give them an answer. And they had a few guys behind the camera, asking the questions and kind of looking at each other and doing notes. And you'd give them an answer, and then they would take that in, and then they would tell you how to say it in more of a soundbite form, because they want those quick little in-betweens. And so that was kind of hard to get used to. But once we got into the swing of it, it was really, really cool. Good experience.
Yeah. That's super interesting, because when you think about it, right, you don't realize, like, when you're watching the program, they're jumping from, a quick scene of somebody saying something to a quick scene of the actual toy to maybe like an ad and this and that. And they just want quick notes, and they can have more people talk on it. And it's not like long form like any of this.
Yeah. Because in the podcast, podcasting life, we can talk for 30, 40, 50 seconds all in one topic. But they, as Scott said, they just want that one quick little soundbite. And they said, that was great the way you answered it, but you need to condense it down to this.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, okay. And Scott's like quick on his feet, man. He's like, he can snap to it. But me, I have to sit there and ponder like how I'm going to say the next thing.
And also they're like feeding you your line, and you're like,
Yeah, not good with economy of words, huh, Jeff?
No, not like that, man.
One of the cool parts you didn't see on the show, actually, when you go back and watch the episode, you'll see Jeff and I holding a couple of figures at one point. I think I was holding Doom, and Jeff had Warrior and Hogan. I had Doom from the Galoob line. Jeff was holding Hogan and Warrior from the Hasbro. We were talking about how that size corresponded, so you kind of have these dream matches. What you didn't see while they were talking to us is off to the side, they had some dude basically give them a ton of figures from his collection. And I'm talking the old LJNs. He had like King Haku, the Blackstrap Andre, the second version Hogan, these really rare figures that back when we recorded in 2018, they didn't have that same dollar value. But when we walked in, we were like, oh, dude, because we're missing some of those figures in our collection. We were super tempted to take them. I'll tell you what, we're looking at those things on the way out like, hey, do we get a parting gift? But unfortunately, went home empty-handed. But it was a really, really good experience.
Yeah, that's really awesome, and I'm in the collector world. The people who know this, I do mostly I do like Funko Pops and bobbleheads and stuff like that. And that's how me and Jeff started chopping it up about like Disneyland shit and stuff like that. And that's where I was like, I think this overlapping stuff is gonna really work here, because I know the figure world and all that stuff. It's crazy.
So I don't think Funko's going anywhere. I think Funko's going to be around for a really long time. They've got so many properties under their umbrella. It's insane. They do anything and everything. And I think that's going to mean a lot of longevity for them.
Travis, has there ever been one Funko where you walked into a store and you just like went crazy? You're like, oh my God, they have it. And you just had to snag it real quick.
I wouldn't say that exclusively. I remember the first time when I went to the Funko Hollywood store, and I was looking for I had got, because it was like the opening year, so they were like releasing a lot of exclusives just for that one. And I think when I went, one of the exclusives was like a Chester cheetah and stuff like that. And the line out there, like to get in the morning, first thing in the morning, is down the block. It's down Hollywood Boulevard. So I was just kind of hoping and praying, like, I just want to get one of these. It's my first trip down here. I need one of the exclusives that they're releasing here. But then I get in there and they've got so many of the exclusives. they got like doubles of everything. So I was able to get, one of everything. But then just have you guys been to that place yet?
No, I haven't.
Never.
Dude, it's so I was telling my buddy who listeners of the show know, my buddy Hardy, who doesn't really know about this. We went on a Disney trip, and I said we got to go. We'll go before we drive on back. We'll make a stop there. And he's like, I mean, it's just a store. You know what does I go? It's not just a store, Hardy. You're not understanding it. And you walk through, and it's like an attraction. Like there's displays and huge like jumbo size Funko shop. Everything's a picture opportunity. Everything's a theme setup. It's super, super cool. And there's just so much there. There's so much there. And like, it's better than trying, because they'll have stock on stuff for much longer than like say your Target will or whatever. So maybe you're looking for a exclusive that has gone out, you know, come and gone from Walmart or GameStop. Sometimes you can go in there, they still have them, and they're not upcharging. It's actually the cheapest place to get pops. It's like baseline $8, normal one $8, $10 for an exclusive. It's really, really, you know, affordable, except for when you're walking around there with 2 rolling carts.
So what's your collection up to? How many do you have?
So I believe I have, let me pull up the app here because I have a lot.
You've got them cataloged, I see.
Yeah. So the
Nice.
great thing about Funko, and I don't know, is there's a, you can't really see that on the phone. There's a Funko app. So you can literally plug and play everything in your collection into that, put things on a wish list, and keep track that way. So I have over 107. I have 177 items in the collection, and estimated value is close to $5,000.
Oh man, this is why I can't go down that slope we always talk about, Jeff.
Well, you do have some Funkos going.
I do have some, yes.
You've got Kiss,
of course.
Do you still have
you got the whole line of Kiss?
I've got the newer ones that came out. Well, actually, one of our listeners sent them to me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really
it was
awesome.
Badass.
I have a couple. I have Metallica. I have Slayer. I have Eddie from Iron Maiden, the Running with the Devil one. I have a couple other I have like an exclusive Alice Cooper, and what's the other?
Did you get the new Eddie Van Halen?
No, I haven't got the Eddie Van Halen yet. And I like that one. I like that one because it's got the '84 guitar with the stripes on it. Yes. I actually had a miniature replica of the '84 guitar, and I think my dad's got it somewhere in a curio cabinet.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Did you ever see Van Halen play?
I've never seen Van Halen play.
Okay, and Scott, you haven't either, huh?
No, I've never seen him, but I'd want to see it with David Lee Roth.
Well, you gotta see it with David.
But I mean, now it's not going to happen at all. So,
yeah, exactly.
No, I totally missed the boat. Like, aside from YouTube, no shot at seeing him.
Yeah, I remember. And it's kind of just a funny story because, like, when you talk about bands and like haven't seen the original lineup, and me, I'm super like I've never had the opportunity to see 90% of these like bands I love, because I know Jef Scott told me that you're like a huge hair metal guy and early stuff, and that's my alley. Is I like thrash metal and hair metal a lot more than the new stuff. So like I've never having an opportunity to see any of these. I was born in '94, so I remember I was driving to like Reno or something one time, had an AC/DC shirt. It was actually AC/DC. I seen them right before Angus died.
Yeah.
And they played in San Francisco. So I had the shirt on, and the dude stopped me in a truck stop. I was taking a piss, and he goes, "Did you ever see and I'm blanking on who's the lead singer of Past? What's his name? I'm blanking.
Oh my God.
Oh, Bon Scott.
Bon Scott. He goes, "Did you ever see Bon Scott?" And I look at him, and I'm like literally like 16 years old. I'm like, "No." He goes, "Dude, shit was crazy."
Us old heads, we love to talk about old shows.
I was like, Bon Scott, didn't he die in like 1980? You know, how old do I look to you? And you guys that have not, you know, this is the first time meeting me, Scott, but Jef, you've known me for maybe a little bit. Right. I haven't been able to grow facial hair until like 2 years ago. That's why I have the beard, and I have it so long because I cannot cut it. If I shave it, it'll take like 2 years to grow this thing back out again.
Let it grow, dude. Let it grow.
We joke around about it, but when we filmed The Toys That Made Us, I was trying to grow a beard, and I'm 43 years old, and I still can't grow a beard, dude. So it comes in all patchy and stuff. Yeah. So Scott always makes the joke, I look like facial hair, and that's the way I look like in the toys that made us. So I was like, oh, biggest thing we've ever done in our lives, and this is what happens.
Yeah, I don't grow anything in this middle, and everybody's like, what the fuck is that shit? I go, I'm so against Hitler, I won't even grow it there.
Yes.
I like the way
I
you
can't
think.
get mine to grow in here. It's like a curse.
Yeah. So I know Jeff has some. Scott, you won't go down that Funko route then, huh?
I can't. And, prices on figures are starting to go up. So you even have to pare down into your collection even harder now into like, okay, what do I keep collecting? What do I have to push to the side? I can guarantee if I was in the Funko boat, I'd be getting out of the Funko boat just because the price is going up.
Yeah, it's super hard to do. And I was telling Jeff about this a little bit, but like, so I recently had taken and put together a miscellaneous group of Funkos that I was not using anymore, that just weren't fitting into a collection. Right now, I've narrowed it down to like horror movies, Star Wars, certain Disney stuff, and then Marvel. And then I have some other stuff that I'm like, I have a Stone Cold Steve Austin that value is, I'm not going to get rid of that. He's, I don't know much about wrestling, but it's my favorite. I pandered. I wore the shit today.
Nice.
And then I have like I said, the rock and roll guys, and then I have like some Adam Sandler and some stuff like just those. I'm like, I don't want to get rid of those. Some of the boxes aren't really, in good shape, so I can't sell them for anything. And I'll just keep them. But like, I got rid of a bunch of Rick and Morty stuff. I got rid of a bunch of like, I had NFL stuff, some Teen Titans stuff. And it's just like, I had to hone down because you end up seeing so much. And like Funko does a really good job with design that you want to get so much, but you also don't have the money or space for all of it.
Yeah,
That's
and we've
the
talked
problem.
about that with wrestling figures too, that there are so many different companies now making wrestling figures that maybe you needed to take a look at your entire collection and start to get rid of the ones that didn't really mean that much to you anyway. So you could start buying some of the other ones from other toy companies that are making wrestling figures. And so, yeah, I totally hear you on the Funkos. You start to pare down that collection so you can continue to buy. We've recommended that to our listeners for wrestling figures too.
Yeah. But Jeff, you do a little bit of both, right? You do some Funko a little.
What's the most expensive? Yeah, I do, man. I do. I get some Funkos. Like, I'll get some wrestling ones here and there, but I also get like, I've got some Saturday Night Live ones. Yeah, I've also got some. I kind of pick and choose because I, like Scott, I really had to start scaling down my collection, like, and really just focus on wrestling figures. In fact, I had to cut out GI Joes. It just got to be too much, and so I started picking and choosing certain Funkos. Like the last one I got was a Jordan. I had to have Jordan.
The big one?
No, I never got the big one.
Oh, gotcha.
That big one is a really cool one.
Oh, dude, it's so sick. It is so sick. And then actually one of our listeners also sent us a Scottie Pippen Team USA one. And I wanted that one as well because, 1992 Team USA, that was our jam right there.
Totally.
Yeah, that's super cool. So I think you were going to ask me what was my most expensive one in my collection.
Yeah, what's the most expensive one that you either have? Well, actually, let's do both. You have in your collection and you've sold from your collection.
Oh, sold. Let's see. What did I just sell? I just probably sold. Well, my most expensive one right now is it's actually two. It's from a collection that they just released this past year. And it's Disneyland. I think it's for the 50 or this Disneyland 65 year. They release the Casey, the Casey circus train.
Oh yeah.
So they have each pop with a different character on it. So the caboose is Donald, then there's Dumbo, Pluto, Goofy, Mickey, Minnie. Yeah, I think I got them all. And when they come out of the box, they actually connect to each other. But
awesome.
But the Dumbo and the Pluto one are both sitting at 135 a piece. And the Goofy's 105. The whole train I've seen on eBay for the whole set of the train go for $700, $800 as a complete set.
Damn.
And then I have a Thor that's at about 115.
My God, man.
Wow.
Yeah. Tony the
man.
Tony the Tiger 105. Yeah, I got a couple $100 ones in here.
Nice.
So
Nice. Not
Yeah.
parting with those though, right?
no way in hell.
Yeah. I hear you.
What I actually want to do, what I've seen is, I have a couple like full lines that I really like. It's like the Disney train, the train, and then like I want to get South Park. I don't know if you guys know South Park anymore, but the Coon and Friends, they have the complete line of all the characters as their superhero versions of them.
Oh, they do?
That's awesome.
Oh, that's
No,
so sick.
They don't have, I don't think they have every single one, but they have most of them. And I have one right now, and I want to get them all. And then like they sell the individual cases that are like shadow boxes and put them in that with lights and like start presenting some of these other ones super nicely.
That's awesome. That'd be so cool.
That is so sick, dude.
Oh yeah, there's Jeff. I was
I'm
like,
back.
you're kind of frozen out there, but we're pushing through. Yeah, because I have all these grand ideas for. You good? Got that poor internet out there, dude. You got to switch to Xfinity, Jeff.
Damn AT&T! What the hell?
Oh yeah, that's the worst.
This is their fiber stuff. What the hell's going on?
Oh, they're all full of shit. They've been full of shit since 2003 when they bought Singular.
So Travis, what started the Disney love for you?
I mean, I think I just grew up in that real ripe age, where I was being born right at that Renaissance, right after Lion King. I mean, Lion King was released on my birth year. That was the best movie of all, best animated picture at the Oscars, best picture at the Oscar. And just growing up and being young in that age, my family did quite a few trips to Disneyland with me as a kid. We'd go like every few years we were going down to Disney, and it's just super core memories for me. And like my girlfriend now, she's fucking awesome. She lived in Florida for a while, went to Disney World school, like worked in the park, took a history of Disney class. She's awesome. So you should be here. Like you guys should see when we walk through the park or we're like watching a movie or something like that, and we'll fucking quiz each other with trivia. It's like a fucking masterclass of who knows more. I mean, she does, but don't let her. She's listening in the other room. She's gonna be like, you honestly, because I won't ever admit to her face that she knows more than me.
Well, that's like with us. Scott and I always were taking Disneyland trips every summer. But here's the best part. So our parents had the 1984, 1985 Oldsmobile, Scott, the whole tank,
the baby blue tank.
Did that one have the wood paneling on the side?
No, not that one. We never got that one.
It did have the wood trim on the inside though.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone. That was the nice shit back then, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were classy.
But the best we were classy. But the best part is I don't know how much you remember the old style LJN figures, but they were the 8-inch guys, like the big rubber. You could throw it at somebody, you could cuss them, right? Well, the ring that came with it was even bigger. So Scott and I, being huge marks for wrestling and wrestling figures, Scott and I were always like, Mom, we got to take our wrestling figures in our ring. And she's like, no, you don't need to take that because we're going to be at Disneyland the whole time. And Scott and I are like, Mom, we have to take our wrestling figures. You don't understand. Somehow, and God bless Mom, she is able to put the ring with those huge honking figures into the trunk and pile suitcases around it. Now the ropes would get a little bit loose, but still, she would still find a way to make it happen.
Work, huh? Make it work for you guys. That's fucking funny as shit. And then you get there and you're in Disney all day, so you don't play with them.
Well, we
get back to the room and play with them.
Yeah.
Your mom's like, can you go to fucking bed? Jesus Christ. I've been walking around this park all goddamn day.
And our parents were complaining about one park. Now there's two down at Disneyland.
Yeah. Right.
But that was the best part, man, is that those are memories that Scott and I have with wrestling figures, going down there and Mom somehow packing the suitcases around it. We don't know how she did it, but she did it too.
Yeah, there's a disconnect there because when we had a I mean, we had a van. We've had like TVs in our cars since they first were able to do it. My dad had
That's
we had a
awesome.
when we had a fucking my mom had a Dodge Caravan, and they had this like little leaner thing. So it was like this, and then you could set a box TV like just as big as it was deep as it was wide for the screen on top of it. Fit some VHS. Then my dad would be running from the fucking cigarette lighter,
Yep.
inverter, an inverter to the PlayStation that we had, and
Oh, you had PlayStation. This is
yeah, oh,
awesome.
yeah, and we were just fucking, we'd be chilling back there, dude, like all the time. And then later when my mom fucking upgraded big time, she got a fucking Denali that had the fucking DVD player in the top and shit. So we were cool. We were watching, Austin Powers Gold Member anywhere we drove.
And Jeff, we thought we were classy.
Well, remember when one of the families that we used to go down to Disneyland with every single year, they got a big van. They had the same setup though. It was the TV was mounted into the little headboard deal, but they had a Nintendo, like the original NES. Oh, dude, we bugged our parents to get that same exact van because we just wanted the Nintendo.
You just wanted it. You want it, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I just wanted to play Excite Bike the whole trip down to Disneyland,
Yeah, because our era was Nintendo, like the original Nintendo.
Yeah. RC Pro-Am, Excite Bike. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, no. And then people would come in and be like, oh my God, this is awesome. Meanwhile, my dad drove a 92 Chevy and a 94 Jeep all my life until my mom got all the new ones. He's like, I'm just leave me alone and let me have this shit.
Heck yeah.
There you go.
Heck
You get what you want,
Now, Travis, did you ever get into wrestling figures back in the day? Because wrestling was probably at a boom when you were starting to kind of pick up. Did you ever?
I had a bunch. I've been doing live shows when I was a kid and shit too. Like not a whole bunch. And I faded out of it really quick. Like, and when I got into high school and stuff like that, I think it's just matter of the fact I got too busy and my head was crowded. I was getting super big into NFL football and I was diving head into baseball. Like on my spare time when I wasn't playing, I was also like going with my dad to help coach younger divisions and stuff like that, and then watching all the MLB. So it just kind of got away from me. But yeah, like middle school and earlier days, I was super big into it. Like we had I don't know the name of the figures and the brands and stuff like that, but we had at least a few different rings. We had a huge Hell in the Cell ring that we'd beat the shit out of all the time, and just like boxes upon boxes of these figures and stuff like that we'd have a fucking blast with. Yeah, but it was really cool.
So do you remember one specific match or one specific thing that really sticks out in your head that you're just like, oh dude, this whole thing was badass?
DX, when DX like really started, when they came back for their revival, because I was too young for the start of them, but I kind of remember the back end a little bit and the rumbling. And you always see whenever you're watching, like, remember DX, so they'll talk about like this year, this date 10 years ago, this happened and this and that. And they had the revival. And I was like, I didn't even know it was Shawn Michaels. And like Shawn Michaels is one of my favorites at that time, like the Heartbreak Kid. I loved his style. Everything about him was it felt like super technical and fluid when he was in the ring. So like he was always one of my favorites, along with like Undertaker and stuff. But I remember when they came back and they started pulling their antics, that shit for me was just like, it's not just like the entertainment of beating the shit out of each other. This is so much fun to tune in all the time.
Yeah.
And it's cool you got to see that again too, because you didn't get to see the original HBK and Triple H, and then you got it in 06, 07. So that's great.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was just like fucking I had a blast. And then that year we went to a live show. I'm like, I think we went to a live show and it was SmackDown, but I didn't understand the difference at the time. So I'm like, maybe they'll show up here. Please let them show up here. And I'm like, it's fucking not Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And then like too, I remember the boogeyman at that time was big, and my brother was fucking terrified of him. So, oh my god. So the boogeyman showed up, and he had a fight that night. We were at fucking SmackDown in San Jose. Oh my god, he curled up into my dad's arms like he was a little baby. But then he's so scared of him. But then he goes up to the concession stand and gets a plastic mask from the thing. I'm like, you're afraid of him. What are you doing?
Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. Good thing he never saw Papa Shango.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
So
he was a voodoo guy.
He was a voodoo guy.
Okay.
Do you remember The Godfather?
The Godfather, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
So Godfather played Papa Shango.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And you would not be able to tell the difference, dude. 'Cause
Really?
one was a pimp, the other was a voodoo guy, you know?
Yep. And he made the Ultimate Warrior throw up on camera.
Yeah, that was a thing.
How do you do that?
Voodoo. Put a curse on him, and he just started throwing up on camera. It was fantastic.
Don't you love wrestling, dude?
I love 90s
do.
wrestling.
I do, because I'm like, is this bullshit? And you guys are like, I'm not gonna fucking do this. He just fucking threw up. It was voodoo, and I'm like,
It was great. We bought it too. It was awesome.
Yeah. Next thing you know, Warrior is throwing up and he has this tar looking stuff coming down his face. It was great, dude.
The picture you're painting for me, I've seen this in a highlight reel somewhere.
Yes.
You probably have, dude. You probably have.
And I don't like I still will go in, and I like to watch like documentaries about the stuff now, like as much as like going in and watching old matches, not really, but I do enjoy going in and like watching like old documentaries and then talking about, you know, like Dark Side of the Ring, and then like Stone Cold Steve Austin just had a pretty good one. And I don't know, Undertaker was shooting one. I don't know if that one's out yet or not. I gotta catch that one though.
Well, they did. It was kind of like a last dance on the Undertaker.
Yeah.
That's on Peacock, and that one was actually really good. It was like what was it, Scott, a 7-part documentary series? Or
yeah, it was almost like you said, the Jordan Last Dance.
Yeah, which was fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I haven't noticed it. I don't use the cock. I know all you wrestling fans out there use the cock, because that's where it streams now, right? But like you can get all your shows there.
Yeah, we have to go to
on Peacock.
Peacock, yeah.
Do they even go on like live TV anymore, or like
oh yeah.
They're still have homes there on Monday and Friday night, right?
Oh totally. Yeah. Them and their competition AEW, they both have live TV.
Yeah, and AEW is a different type of wrestling. It's a different style. It's just completely different. And that's the good alternative to WWE. You know, you kind of want something else. You know, you're like, okay, WWE is cool, but you need an alternative. You need something new. And AEW is that perfect fit for the wrestling fans.
Yeah, so my podcast foes, the Curveballs and Chair Shots people, who took my dear brother away from this program, they do sports and wrestling and stuff like that, and they've shifted more from WWE stuff into AEW stuff. So I went on their program a couple of times, and they were like, here, watch AEW on Thursday night. That way you could talk about it some more, you know, and it'll be interesting. It'll be a fresh perspective. And I was like, oh, this is very, you know, you could tell it's different. And the way from what I've noticed from the outside, and just being like, I barely see any of this stuff, is there's more of a lean towards, like, I remember back in the day, it was more like nobody, like, you don't give up one of the, what are they called? Like works or whatever. Like there's no inside to this game. It's all secretive. And now they're like leaning into it. Like, I have my own personal life and I do this. You can see this on my Instagram. This is what I put on and perform for you. There's a separation in that. And then the appreciation of more technical wrestlers, I think, has grown throughout the whole brand in itself. And I think that's what's, you know, having guys like AEW be able to honestly compete.
Yep. And that was the thing back in the day. We could never tell the difference between Terry Bollea and Hulk Hogan. We didn't even know Hulk Hogan's real name was Terry Bollea.
Exactly.
No idea.
Yeah. The internet changed all that.
Yeah, exactly. And now a lot of people today are just like what you said. Hey, my real name is this, but my stage name is this. You know, it's more behind the curtain stuff nowadays, which we would have never gotten back in the 80s or even the 90s or 2000s.
Yeah, it's just a different thing. But I like there's a different energy when I do watch it every once in a while. So, I mean,
So-
people are going to watch this and be like, you're so full of shit. And I'll be like, whatever. I just bullshitted you for 30 minutes.
So wait a second. This other podcast took your brother away?
In a certain sense. I've talked about this like 4 weeks, but we could do it again. My brother. So we did this show, Trap Door to Hell. We've been doing it for maybe 4 years or something like that now, since 2019. We started at the very beginning, open format like this, and then we were kind of like, let's find a lane. So we were talking about sports, and then we talk about like we'd review movies a bunch, like me and my brother, big movie guys. And then this past year, just in November, I moved out, he moved out. There was a bunch of stuff going on, so we kind of didn't do it for a few months. And I was like, hey, I'm ready to get going. It was also hard to, when he doesn't, when we didn't live together, to have the like facility, he works at different times, I work at different times. There was all kinds of stuff going on to pick a time to go see, make sure you both seen that new movie that week, to make sure that you both watched all the NFL games or kept up on MLB. It's super hard. So I was like, let's go back. We'll get guests. And we had started, back like this is going to be episode 7. So, 7 weeks ago, we started back up. He couldn't make the first episode. He was on for the second one. And then he was just like busy and stuff. And then all of a sudden I look on Twitter one day and he signed a contract with these guys. And like, what's funny? Those guys, they're my age. I grew up with them. And and my brother's like best friend. My little brother's best friends with him. So I'm like, whatever. And I was like, so I hey, what's up with this contract thing? Like, it says you're not going to do this podcast anymore. Like, is this a bit? What are we doing? Like, is this a WWE work? Like, you want me to come up on here and motherfuck this and that? And it was just, and I said before on this that like, they portrayed it super weird, so I don't exactly know how to act. Last week I had a couple of glasses of whiskey, so I got super sad boy on Sunday towards it. I was like, it really hurt my feelings.
Speaking of whiskey, you mentioned that you're big into metal. Have you tried Metallica's whiskey?
I have not. Did you try it?
Highly recommended.
Right?
Blackened, yeah. It's fantastic, dude. So we went to Aftershock last year, where Metallica headlined 2 of the 4 days. And they actually had a blackened booth. And I think 3/4 to maybe 90% of our budget went towards that booth. Plus, we took 2 bottles to the room because we were there all 4 days.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic, dude. We've probably gone through, since it came out, I think we've maybe gone through like 10 or 12 bottles here at the house. It's fantastic. If you're a whiskey drinker, dude, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cheap. Like, I'm a cheaper whiskey. Like, I've been drinking Jack Daniels for a long time because it's cheaper than most. And I normally just do shots and and then slam PBRs on the side. So like, I've never been a fancy, like, people are like, oh, you want to try a good beer? I'm like, this is good beer. All right. They're like, everybody in the whole IPA world and stuff like that. I don't knock you if you like that. My buddy slugs Racer 5s like there's no tomorrow. You never
wrong with that.
I've seen this guy drink 24 Racer 5s and be like, cool. And I'm like, you are a savage. I can't do it. That shit makes me too full. So it's always the argument of like, oh, I only need 6 of these and I'm messed up. And I go, well, you're not pairing every single one of those beers with 1 to 2 shots. So
exactly. Yeah. This is more of a sipper. I wouldn't really do shots of it. But it goes nicely. I always do just, a nice whiskey glass, about a 1/4 black in, fill the rest with water and ice, and just a sipper.
Now, do you
good.
You like blackened? Oh, wait, no, you like the Slipknot whiskey better than blackened, right?
I do, but the Slipknot whiskey is more expensive and not as readily available as blackened. Like, you can go to Bevmo and get blackened. You can't get the Slipknot whiskey there.
Okay.
Bevmo is just doing a deal. I stocked the fuck up over there. They got for Club Bev members, it's like buy one get one 5 cents, selected bottles and stuff.
Oh, what do they have for whiskey?
No, I got 4/5 of Crown and 2 handles of Pendleton at buy one get one for 5 cents. Yeah,
would you like to guess where I'm going after we record?
Yeah. Get it while the getting's hot, dude. I'm telling everybody.
Yeah.
I told everybody about this. I'm like, yeah, how are you not passing this up? A second bottle for 5 cents. My Asian buddy Gary's like, it's probably still not as everything's not as cheap as it is at Costco. So he's like, Costco prices are so low. I bet you it's the same price for 2 at Costco than it is. I'm like, Gary, shut up.
You're ruining it.
Yeah, you can just go take my word for it, and if it's cheaper at Costco, whatever, or whatever. I don't know.
Or you can go save some money at Bevmo. Hey.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure it's cheaper. I've been drinking for a long time. I know what prices are.
Scott, where's the Jaeger machine, by the way?
Jaeger machine's in the garage. It is boxed up. When we had it was in the kitchen on the counter. You got me that like
one of the tap things
with the 3 bottles on top.
That's fucking cool. I had sorry, go ahead. I'll finish after.
Well, I was gonna say we had our kitchen redone 2 years ago. And up to that point, it had been sitting for 8 years on the countertop. We had actually notched one of our cabinets so it would fit under there nicely. And then we'd scoot it out when we had company and we wanted to party. So that sat on the counter forever. It's in the garage now since the kitchen redo. But my wife, who's turning 40 in October, we're doing a rager here for her birthday. The Jaeger machine is coming out of retirement to make an appearance again.
Hell yeah.
There will be -10 Jaeger flowing at that party.
I have the or I used to have, I sold it to my buddy, the Jägermeister official shot freezer. So it comes with all the individual Jaeger freezable shot glasses, and then you plug it in, and then like the Jaeger Raider was supposed to go on top of it. I've won so much fucking cool shit like that at raffles. I won that at a raffle. I've won like Bud Light neon signs and shit. I have this really cool Coors Light. Well, it's not, you can't see this Coors Light. I sticker bomb the fuck out of it. But it's like a push button. So all the refrigerator, so all the racks are like this, and you load the beer up, and it's got a little door at the bottom. You just hit the button, and out the bottom you can grab your beer. It's really fucking cool.
That's awesome. Shit, dude. I like that. I like that.
That Jaeger machine is cool though, dude.
Oh, I love it. It's fantastic.
Does that shit chills the Jaeger, right? Dude?
To -10. And it says it loses like 5 to 8 degrees right after you pour the shot. So you want to do it right away because you can't drink. Warm Jaeger is not the business, dude. And we all know this from experience.
I was, I'm pretty balanced now. I only drink on the weekends because I have to. I literally cannot drink.
Well, you're also up at like what, 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m.
Yeah. But I used to have a severe problem. Like, but how I curtailed like my alcoholism was, you can still drink, just do it on the weekends, treat it as a gift for yourself,
Moderation. That's the way to do it.
So yeah, because I used to work for Old Dominion freight lines. Mm-hmm. And we work swing shifts. So I'd go to work and I'd start at 2 a.m. Well, I'd get off at 11 o'clock, and then I'd drink till like maybe 10 p.m. and then go to sleep for like 4 hours and then go to work and then just be fucked up and fuck shit up and go to sleep in the bathroom. And yeah, I got fired, and it was really shitty. Man. But that was my move, because I was still coaching Little League and all kinds of shit. I was always doing shit. So what I would do, because like you can't just pound whiskey all day, that shit's on your breath, And I'm sure I smelled terrible at the time, regardless, because it didn't matter. But I would go pick up a handle of Jägermeister, and I'd pick up 2 of the big fucking monster cans. So I'd slam half from each of one immediately, and then I just pour Jaeger and fill it up the rest of the way. And then and then I would drink those all day long.
That actually was a favorite drink of mine for a while. Rockstar had the old juiced flavors. It was like the orange can.
Yeah.
So I do a big glass. I'd pour the Rockstar in there, and then 3 shots of Jaeger on top of it.
Yeah.
That was good at 10 o'clock at night. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I just, we were out seeing Midland, the country band in Fresno a few weeks ago. And we went to the bar after the show, and I was like, what do I want? And I was like, you know what I haven't had in forever? Fucking Jaeger bombs. Let's go, dude.
Let's do it.
I order a Jaeger bomb, and everybody's looking. Everybody's just like, there's nobody in this bar. There's maybe like 2 other people at the end. Also, I'm extremely hammered already. So my friends are looking at me, and and this is eclectic, like from a guy who I grew up with to like older people that we've coached their kids and stuff that we've just become friends with. So they're looking at me, and one of them, her name is Pam. She goes, "What is that?" And I'm like, "You don't know what a Jaeger bomb is?" And then my buddy Tyler Kiai, he's like, "Oh shit, here we go." So I'm like,
"Here we go.
Let me show you how to do this. And so I think I had like 4 or 5. I don't remember. I remember the next day I woke up in the hotel, and my friend Vicky, she goes, "Hey, so what time did you go to sleep last night?" And I'm like, what do you mean? Like we closed the bar. We all closed the bar down, didn't we? And she goes, "Yeah, but we got to the hotel, and I guess I refused to go up and go to bed, and I was just chain smoking cigarettes down at the bottom, and then she's just like, all right, good luck."
So I do have to ask you, Scott and you talked about you being a huge movie buff.
Oh yeah,
Scott and I are huge Jackass fans.
loved it.
You love Jackass Forever?
Oh, I laughed so hard in the theater. Like, it's been a while since I've had that good of a laugh in a movie theater.
Very much so.
Probably since Jackass 3, right?
Jackass 3, that one was a fucking event too. When Jackass 3 came out, we were still in high school, and some of us weren't yet 18, so we couldn't get into that. So my mom and my dad, well, my mom didn't have to go. But my mom and my dad came with a group of our friends to go watch it. And we go into the movie theater, and my buddy Tyler Kiai, who I was just talking about. We see him with another group of our buddies, and his dad's there taking them to go see it. And my mom looks at him and goes, "Hey, Tony, where's Allison at?" Allison being his wife. And he goes, "Allison's not coming to watch this. Do you know what this is?" And
oh no,
my mom had I guess my mom, like, I could have sworn we watched them, but I guess my mom really didn't have a good grasp of how it was escalating at this point.
Oh.
She about near. Luckily that Steve-O bit, and I just rewatched 3 this past weekend again, because my girlfriend had never seen any of them. So I showed her 1. No, we went to the movies, we saw 4, and then I'm like, we gotta watch the rest of them. You have to see these.
Yes, marathon time.
Yeah. So luckily, my mom, when Steve-O gets flung up in the fucking porta potty, she's like, "I'm done. I can't do any more of this." And then the movie was over, and I'm like, "You made it! Yay!"
Yay! So 2 to me is the worst out of all of them.
Number 2.
2 is the one where Steve-O was so messed up during that movie.
Yeah.
But that was the one where he got that giant fish hook.
Oh, the fish hook.
Dude, that's the one outside of the snake bits, because whenever I see snakes, I have to turn away. But that fish hook one through the cheek, I can't watch that one. That one still gets me. I could watch any other Jackass movie and any other Jackass clip except that fish hook one, and any snakes, of course.
Yeah, my lady can't do needles or anything like that. So that one, I was getting, rewatching it, I was getting double laughs, because I was laughing at Steve-O, then I was laughing at her shriveling up in the corner of the room. asking why is he doing this? Why is he doing this?
Well, May 20th, Jackass 4.5 on Netflix.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
On Netflix?
Yep, May 20th.
Why on
Not
Netflix?
Paramount? I know, I was surprised. It's Netflix.
They purchased that.
Oh,
got it. Okay.
Netflix, I believe, has a deal with Jackass where they get the 0.5 exclusively when they release.
Nice.
I think they started that after the 2.5. So 3.5 and 4.5 will be on Netflix. And
nice. Okay. Yeah, I can't wait. May 20th.
Which I think is better for Jackass themselves, because I mean, let's be honest, Paramount Plus doesn't get that much foot traffic.
No.
And they don't do, even if they do broadcast it, like, it's, people have to go so far out of their way, and especially with the whole Netflix thing right now, like, they need shit. They're gonna have they're gonna crack down. Did you hear what's going on with them? Because they lost like.
So it's the crackdown on all the sharing of passwords, right?
Yeah. So the first quarter of this year, for the first time ever, they did not gain subscribers, and they actually lost like a huge number, something in the hundreds of thousands of people canceled their subscription to Netflix.
Oh
Wow.
crap.
So what they think is the right move is to now cut down on sharing of Netflix, and I don't think that's the right way.
Which is funny
Nope.
too, because back in the day, they wanted you to share passwords, so they wanted you to share all the passwords and all the user logins and all that stuff. And now they're like, no, we don't want you to share passwords anymore.
Yeah, they're like here, your whole family can have all the movies you want in every room that you need it. Now they're gonna be like, you can only have this many devices on your thing at one time.
Yeah,
that's gonna
call.
be the real problem. I think it has to do with the programming, and everybody started their subscription thing, which is insane because we're just going to end up back at cable, but that's a whole nother fucking diatribe in itself.
You might be right.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it this way, right? I don't know. What do you guys do for TV and streaming? What do you have? Can you generalize?
Scott?
Let's see. We got Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, and I get Peacock for free through Comcast. So that's about the extent of like what I'm watching on a regular basis.
And do you have any sort of live TV stuff, or you just stream
DirecTV? Yeah, because my mother-in-law lives with us, so we have DirecTV for her because she wants to watch, regular television.
Oh,
if it was up to me, I'd be a la carte.
My dad does old people shit like that too.
Yeah, that's the only reason we have DirecTV.
Yeah. He's watching Ancient Aliens all day on the History Channel.
Our parents do the same thing, man. If we even tried to show them how to stream, oh, dude, they would just malfunction, man.
No, it's not happening.
And what do you have, Jeff? What do you normally?
So I have YouTube TV.
Okay, yeah.
We have Netflix. We have Paramount Plus. We have ESPN Plus, but we've got to get rid of it. But that's a whole different story.
Spice Channel.
Spice Channel, Playboy Channel. Good setup, Scott.
So if you do all that math of all those things combined, you end up at a place where we were just 10 years ago with having a like an AT&T or DirecTV in your house.
Well, that was the thing is we had DirecTV. Plus, I got the NFL package because, as you can see, I'm a Bills fan and I want to watch all the Bills games. Next thing I know, I'm spending about close to $200 a month during football season to get the NFL package. So I'm like, this is way too expensive, because when it wasn't NFL season, my bill was $155, $160.
Yeah.
And I just got basic channels,
Yeah.
So I was like, forget this. So we got rid of that. But the funny thing is one thing you pointed out, Travis, it starts adding up once you start getting all the subscriptions, like Peacock. I subscribe to a wrestling promotion called New Japan Pro Wrestling World.
Imagine if you wanted the MLB package, that's $120 a year.
Dude, that's 100. Yeah, exactly, dude. So
it adds up real quick.
And you're right back to where you were.
Yeah. Because I have a bunch right now, and I'm football too. So like I just needed a way to get the games, and I love the Red Zone. I do fantasy football. So the Red Zone channel is like my so when I moved into here, because at my dad's, when we were staying with my dad, he has AT&T, Xfinity, X5, TV, and then I was paying for Netflix. Luckily, through our Verizon plan, we get Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for free. Yeah. But before, I was paying for two of those. My brother paid for the other one. We have HBO Max as well. We have Peacock, or not Peacock. We have Paramount Plus, Shudder for horror movies, and it just adds up and adds up. So
it really does.
Yeah, I ended up going to Sling TV, but and I pay like $50 a month, which is kind of like your YouTube TV. Yep. And I know, I use it for just a few things. One, I like to watch fucking Guys Grocery Games and Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives on the Food Network.
I'm good with that, dude.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then I get most of the, like, during March Madness, I had all the college basketball games.
Yep.
And then I pay a little extra so I can have NFL Red Zone, and I get most of the NFL games.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so are you a Giants fan or an A's fan?
A's fan, unfortunately.
But you still get your A's games on Sling, right?
I don't. I haven't watched a single game.
Oh,
I on one day I went to go on and they were showing, because I have MLB channel, so they were showing regional coverage, which was supposed to be the Athletics. Well,
okay.
I went to go watch it and that game was blacked out. So
Oh,
Oh.
no.
yeah.
Oh,
Wow. So who
man.
cares? I think it's Comcast has the deal for the A's, right?
And
Yeah.
NBC Sportsnet, like Bay Area.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I mean, I could go in and I'm sure there's a way for me to go and watch it or whatever, but baseball is so hard. I put it when I have free time. I don't usually have enough free time to watch a full game. So I just put it on MLB Network and I get the highlights. I consume what I can,
Yeah.
So do you play fantasy baseball as well?
No, I did that once. That is a whole hell of a lot to do.
Well, especially if you do the dailies. But we actually are in a league where it's weekly. You set your lineup weekly and then just leave it for the week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you set it
a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's basically set it and forget it. The only bad thing is say like you have Shohei Ohtani. I'll just use Ohtani. And let's say, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but Ohtani gets hurt on Monday. He's stuck in your lineup until Sunday, until you can.
Oh, yeah.
Or
So
like in my case, where Brian Reynolds was pulled out because of COVID on a Tuesday. He's in my lineup through Sunday with 0 points.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, it's brutal. So that's the bad part about a weekly, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't go to dailies, I don't think. Weekly's just easier.
When I played when I was in high school in a few fantasy baseball leagues, and then like tried to after when I started working when I was out of high school, and just the constantly going on, because when I do things and we do fantasy football version of the podcast when the football season comes along, I need to know everything. when fantasy football, when football season comes around, I have to drop like 2 of the other podcasts that I normally listen to, because I need to pick up to watch the other shows to get more information on I've got fucking notes and I'm studying everything, because I hate to do things and not be informed about them.
So that's like Scott at our fantasy baseball draft. Scott doesn't do fantasy football anymore. I'm all in on it, like you.
Well, but if I need another pro player, then I know who to go to.
That'd be my fifth. That'd be my 5th league, dude. But anyway, but you should see Scott when he comes to a draft. He's got notes. He's got a highlighter like I'm holding on right here. And he is like all in, laser focus. Except
computer and paper.
Computer and paper.
You bring your laptop, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I do the same thing for the fucking NFL draft. Yeah.
And we do a live draft with like a board that we're putting names on. We're not picking off of our computer. I just got it for research.
Yep.
Yeah. That's when we do live drafts for only one of my leagues so far for NFL does fantasy live draft, but that's the fucking best way to do it.
It's the most fun. Yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
When you can get every team owner in there, and well, when they're drinking, it gets a little loud.
Oh,
to say the least.
I did one year where I showed up. It was on a Sunday morning, right? And I had drank all day on Saturday the night before. I partied. I went to bed super late. I got up for this draft, and I didn't have shit else to do that day. So I just, on the way to the draft, I picked up a couple tall cans of fucking what are they? Strawberries, the Bud Light Strawberries.
Oh my god.
Because I was like, it's breakfast time. Maybe I'll switch it up a little bit. I had 3 taquitos from from 7-Eleven and 3 tall cans of strawberries. And they were hosting.
I've so been there.
they had a microphone with the thing, and they were hosting the draft, and they were like, yeah, we can switch this off, or we got a couple here. And I just go, I have my notes and shit like that. I just put it down and I go, give me the microphone. and I talked for the entire draft, like 3 hours. They're like, hey, it's your turn. And I'm like, oh shit, where are we at? It was a bad draft.
And Scott, what is the drink of choice whenever we're at our fantasy baseball draft?
Well, it's whiskey, but it's not glass bottle whiskey. It's plastic bottle whiskey. It's Kessler. It's Kessler. That is the official drink of our baseball draft.
I love that. I love that. I'll let me know when you do your draft next year. I'll make you a big sign with official sponsor, so you can hang them like banners next to, like when they put them above the sign, like official sponsor of the NFL,
Yes.
Bud Light.
Yeah.
That'll be for your fantasy baseball league.
The official sponsor of the league.
Just underneath the draft board.
So I don't know if you know this, Travis, but I don't drink. But the funny thing is watching every single one of them take their shots, and the faces contort to like, oh my God, this is fire shooting down my esophagus.
That's
right
plastic
now.
bottle whiskey face right there. That's just,
yeah.
It's never good.
I know the face. I know the face well.
Well, they all make it. It's just not Scott. It's just not our commish Sean or anybody like that. It's all of them. It's that same face, same reaction, same exact time, dude.
Because that's a shooting whiskey. That is a shooting whiskey.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I remember. I was talking about how I'm cheap, right? So like Jack Daniels is what I get, but I grew up watching my dad. My dad's always been like a cheap drinker. He's always had like Evan Williams. So
okay, yeah.
When I was like 9, because I didn't really start drinking until after high school. But when we were like 19, 20, we do parties. And I remember one time I showed up with a handle of Evan Williams, and people were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, What's the problem? It tastes the same. I go, me and my dad drink this shit, and they're like, this is terrible. Why did you bring this to the party?
They're like, are you trying to throw up?
I'm like, don't fucking drink it then, dude. What the fuck? I take the bottle. I'm like, ah.
I love it. It's mine now.
So I was living in, and Scott, I hope you don't mind me telling this story, but I was living in Stanley. I was living in San Leandro, actually right around the corner on Davis Street, and from where we work. And so Scott and I were out late with some friends. Scott had a little bit too much to drink. You remember this, Scott?
Shocker. Yes. If this is the beer story, yes, I remember.
So now, mind you, the next day we're going to a Giants game with Mom. Mom was going to be at the house at about 9:30, 10 o'clock. It was a bobblehead day. 3 o'clock, 3:30, we get home. Scott's out in front puking on my lawn. So 3:30 in the morning, I'm with a hosing down Scott's puke.
Because Mom's there early the next morning. Can't have Mom seeing puke in the lawn.
Nope, gotta clean that shit up.
Yep, exactly. Scott stumbles to the bedroom and falls asleep at about 4:15. I don't get to sleep till about 4:30, 5 o'clock. So I'm dragging ass the next day at the Giants game. Scott is completely hungover. He's chowing down on garlic fries, trying to soak up the alcohol.
That breath must have been atrocious.
Beer and garlic. You gotta love it. Plus hangover.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott, that was one of the funniest things, dude. I was like, where's Scott? And I look out my front window and he's just hunched over puking, dude. It's just,
yeah.
At least you weren't there at Girls in Vegas when I had the Worm Jaeger.
Oh no. What happened to
there? So we were having a good time. We were kind of going to different bars and stuff. And Vince Neil had taken over, I think it was Cheetahs in Vegas. And he made it Girls.
Sounds right.
So we went there with a couple other people, and one of them orders Jaeger, 4 shots. They line them up. The first 4 are out of the freezer. So nice cold shots of Jaeger. Boom, down the hatch, no problem. She orders 4 more. 2 of them, he had enough left in the bottle for.
New bottle.
But the last 2, new bottle off the shelf. He pours them, and I'm looking at this like, okay, I have a 50-50 of getting a cold one. Well, guess what? I lost.
Yeah,
no.
I got a warm one. It was like drinking Epicac syrup.
Yeah, I know.
I shot it and immediately was like watery mouth. I got to go to the bathroom. Here's the best part. I run to the back where the restrooms are, and it's just kind of this big open area, and there's urinals off to the right, and then doors with toilets in them to the left. And these doors are cool because you close them and they fog up so you can't see inside. I go in, I do my business. Worm Jaeger leaves. I walk out, a stripper standing there waiting for me. And she's like, you just used the women's restroom, right? And I'm like, where's the sign? She's like, you pee over there. And I'm like, ma'am, I wasn't peeing.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't call me ma'am. And I'm like, I'm going to go back and get another drink.
Yeah. What the fuck is this? I just want to drink, dude. What the hell?
Yeah. I just wanted cold Jaeger. I got warm Jaeger. This is what happens.
I used to drink I have no problem putting down warm Jaeger. I used to drink it straight out of the bottle off my cabinet, my room, night shelf in my room.
Dude, I do not recommend.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
After 30, I don't recommend.
It takes a real fucking gut to be able to do that, or
cast
just
iron stomach. Yes,
be drunk already. then it's usually easier.
It didn't work for me. So
I had taken this girl to the A's game, and just like right in the Jaeger face, and she liked Jaeger too. So like I was like, here, I brought some Jaeger for this, and I'm like, I just twist the cap off, and I go, here, you want some? We're gonna start pre-gaming before we drive to the A's game. He's like, you're not gonna like put this in the cooler or nothing? I go, I guess if you need to. I was like, just let me get some first. And then I close it up and I put it in the cooler for later when we get there. She's like, I can't believe you just do that.
I can't believe you did that.
I'm a fucking well, I was like I said, I had a real problem.
Dude, you were hardcore, man.
No, but it's funny when you use it, because I don't know if I've told the story on this podcast, but I've never told it to you, so I'm gonna tell this one. It's about using the women's restroom. I was in Target one time, and for some reason, my bowels, as soon as I walk into a store, all of a sudden I have the worst stomach problems of all time. I can be perfectly fine until I don't. So I walk in, I'm just going in there to get an aux cord for my stereo, and then I'm out. I walk all the way, I get all the way to the back where the fucking speaker shit is, and I go, and my stomach just turns on me. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. So I literally am like fast walking, clenching my ass cheeks all the way to the front, and I have the most ferocious shit. It stinks. I know it stinks so bad. It smells bad to me. So when it smells bad to yourself, and you're like in there, and you're like, that's worse than anything I've ever done. And all I do is I finish up, and it's like fucking, I'm sweating. And I just look up, and there's an old woman staring at me, and she goes, oh my. and I just go, oh, I'm so sorry. I walk out, and I go straight out to the car, and I drive to a different store.
So it's funny you mentioned that certain stores just do something to your stomachs. KB Toys in Stone Ridge Mall did that to mine.
KB Toys, what a throwback.
And Disneyland to Scott, same exact. There was something about Disneyland.
Horrible gas at Disneyland.
We would be standing in line to go
snacks.
Exactly, dude.
Yep.
But we would be standing in line to get into the park because our parents had us there at 8 a.m. And we'd be standing in line. All of a sudden, you just smell something. You look over at Scott. Sorry, dude, I'm calling you out.
That's cool.
But literally, and standing in line for Space Mountain too. That was another one.
And you'd smell rotten eggs, and everybody would look at me, and I'd be like, "Yep."
I'm crop dusting all these little fuckers in Disneyland now. they got the new Pim cocktails over in California Adventure, which are really good. They have non-alcoholic and alcoholic ones, and they have this. It's like a habanero tequila drink. And it was so fucking good. Like that slight heat from the habanero. It's got little bobas in it that are like mango. That mango taste comes through. You can barely taste the tequila. So when me and my lady were last there, we are putting them fucking down. Nice. And I'm just crop dusting the whole park.
See, ours usually came from the corn dog truck or the turkey legs
or the churros.
Oh yeah.
Dude. Oh my God. I had the fucking best churros I've ever had at the fucking park that trip.
Oh, dude. Disneyland churros, there's nothing that beats those, man. Those are the best churros.
I don't know if you guys, so over at the Cozy Cone in Radiator Springs, they'll do seasonal churros over there. So they're not normal. So we were there for Halloween time. Ooh. And what they had was like these, it was I was regular kind of dusted like in green and purple colored sugar coating, and then green and purple icing drizzled over it.
Oh,
dude. And then
dude.
my buddy went in December, and they had like a velvet cheesecake fucking churro over there that he said was fucking bomb too.
Have you had that one, Scott?
I've never had that one, but I was there at Christmas. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, right before COVID hit, and they had a horchata churro.
Oh, that sounds good.
It was amazing, and it came with like a dip that was almost like a condensed milk dip. Oh my gosh, it was incredible, dude. It was so good.
God, I love the fucking food at the parks.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude,
We
isn't it
can
so
do
good?
this for another hour.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we go crazy at Disneyland with the food, man. We eat our way through.
When you guys go, what are some of the places that you like to make it a point to hit? What like, and also, do you ever hit like the fancy restaurants? Every time me and the lady go, we always hit Lamplight Lounge, the restaurant Lamplight Lounge, which is right at Pixar Pier.
Oh, okay.
So at the entrance to Pixar Pier, up by the Incredicoaster, there's
Yeah.
the two stores right when you go onto the pier. On the right is the Lamplight Lounge, and on the left is the Pixar store.
Yep.
Where they have the artist in there. That place, that restaurant.
Is Lamplight, is that the one where you have to go down and you're on the water? Okay, yeah.
Well, no water anymore, but
yeah. Yeah, we love that place, dude. Even the snacks or the appetizers, those are just out of this world. I think we were eating some nachos there last time, and oh dude, they were so good.
Yeah, the lobster nachos.
That's it.
Yep, they got rid of them though.
What? Why would they do such a thing?
Last time, because that's her favorite thing. Laura's favorite thing is the fucking lobster nachos. And we went there, and before we even showed up for our vacation, she had booked 2 separate reservations to go to Lamplight Lounge. She's like, I'm treating myself. I want these lobster nachos. Just weren't on the menu.
Oh, dude, what?
Oh,
sucks. I did have a really good fucking pork chop there though.
Nice.
Really good pork chop.
Nice.
So I've got 2. The first off, obviously it's a staple. You got to go with the Dole Whip. Right over by the Tiki.
I don't like pineapple, so I don't really care that much.
Oh, dude.
I don't actually. I've never had one.
Oh. Well, if you don't like pineapple, you ain't gonna like the Dole Whip.
Yeah,
so.
For me, it's like, why am I gonna stand in this line and worry about that? I'll get something else that I know I'm gonna like.
Right. So the other one is the Plaza, and we go through there for the fried chicken. It's hella good.
See, I've always gone there just for character breakfast.
Okay.
So,
gotcha.
I mean, which they have good character breakfast, but my brother went there for lunch. He's like, the fried chicken is off the fucking chain.
It's always good. I've never had a bad meal there, and I always get the fried chicken, and it is so good. Highly recommended.
For me, it's always the Plaza, because the pasta, I actually like the pasta at the Plaza.
Oh yeah, the pasta's hella good too. That's what the kids get.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course you always got to have a turkey leg, and then you go to the corn dog truck and
the corn dog truck. Yes.
Oh God, the corn dog truck, and you have weird growths coming off the corn dog, and it's great.
I hit the corn dog place over on in California Adventure on Pixar Pier side, where they have the hot link corn dogs.
Wait,
that's over by Goofy's Aviation School.
How have I missed this?
I've never seen those.
You've never seen them?
No, but I know where I'm going on the next trip.
Yeah, over back. This is what I'm talking about. This is why we do this, right? This is why we do this. The name of the game here. Yeah, over by Goofy's Aviation School, kind of where it transitions to before you hit Little Mermaid, but not quite into Pixar Pier, where it's kind of that old. It's like still in that old phase of what California Adventure used to be, and you're like, this is in between. Right. There's a fucking stand back there that sells corn dogs that has hot link corn dogs, and they are the best.
Oh, dude. I am all about that. So when we were there in December over in California Adventure, right over by where the Boudin sourdough place is,
yeah,
they've got a bunch of little like just food stands in there. One of them had birria tacos.
Yeah, we had those. We did that too.
My God.
The birria tacos are phenomenal there.
Oh, I can't wait to go back and just get like 20 of those. They were so freaking good.
Very good.
Off the hook.
Yeah, that's one of my new things that, because there's the classics, that you always talk about. That's one of my new ones that I'm telling everybody about.
Yeah, those were so good.
Family trip, and we're taking Travis.
Welcome to the family, dude.
Hey, I'm sure we would all love to come, and then you can witness that duel off between who me or my girlfriend are gonna say more facts about this goddamn place.
You and Scott have the beards, so you guys kind of resemble more than Scott and I do. Scott and I don't even look alike, dude.
Right? They'll be like, who the fuck is this guy? You look alike. Yeah, no, I always, so there's a couple places that I always hit. In the Cozy Cone, there's one that has mac and cheese, and they do their mac and cheese in pretzel cones.
Oh yeah.
So like people like the chili one, the chili cheese mac and cheese. I like the one with just bacon in it. I think it's really good, and it complements the pretzel well. So I always stop there. Yeah, that's the one, the birria ones now for sure. But
that's a must.
What was the one for Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh, Blue Bayou.
Blue Bayou. They used to have the best Monte Cristo, and our mom used to go there all the time to get just the Monte Cristo. That's all she wanted was that.
It was hella good, but they
still have them, I believe.
They do. But from what she's saying, she's like, it's not the same. It tastes completely different. Now, I don't know.
Yep. And they changed the jelly that you dip it into too.
Honey, come here. Honey, come here.
Meatloaf.
Come here. We're talking about the Monte Cristos.
Meatloaf.
You don't got to go on camera. But Jeff says that the Monte Cristos, his mom used to love the Monte Cristos. But he said that she thinks they changed. Did you taste any difference?
Well, it was my first time trying one, so.
Gotcha.
Oh, I thought. Well, didn't you? I thought that was like a thing that your mom always did.
No, it was just a new fried. It was a new fried gluten-free option, and we never get fried food unless you cook for us.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we don't have a basis of comparison.
That's not Blue Bayou, right? That's a different.
No, it's in New Orleans Square, though.
Yeah, it's a different restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, that French Quarter place right next to it.
So the French Quarter place also had it. So if you couldn't get if you couldn't get reservations to Blue Bayou, you could always go over there and get the Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
And that's what our mom was saying, is she's like, it just doesn't taste the same anymore. And she would just go and eat like 3 of those on a 3-day trip. She'd go once a day.
Have you guys gone to Blue Bayou and ate inside where the ride is and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I went for my first time. I cried. A for real cried.
That's awesome, dude. And it's cool because you can see the boats going by, and
Yeah.
it's a cool atmosphere in there. Have you ever eaten at Club 33?
No. Have you guys?
Twice.
How the fuck did you pull that?
Because our parents used to work at a place that had like a something with Disney, some sort of agreement.
It was like an exclusive agreement with them.
Yeah, and so somehow through their company, they were able to get reservations, and so we ate there a couple times.
Now we do have to be honest that we haven't eaten there. And what was the last time? 1990.
I was a teenager, so we're talking like the early 90s.
Yeah.
So that was the last time we were able to get in.
I mean, that's still cool as fuck.
Oh, dude,
it was cool. It was an experience for sure.
It's a whole different ball game up there, dude.
I couldn't pronounce anything on the menu. I had no idea what I was ordering, but it was good. From what I remember, it was good.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I think they had baby lobster there. That was hella good.
Oh yeah, it was stuff you didn't see on any other menu in the park. I mean, especially for the 90s, it was just like next level.
Exactly.
I'm sure. Yeah, this is the elite of the elite. I've watched plenty of YouTube videos about Club 33.
Oh yeah, but it's been at least like 30 years since we've been there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, and I used to always tell everybody that there used to be the walk-up service restaurant right before Blue Bayou and the other French Quarter restaurant. It was just a walk-up window service where you can get jambalaya or fucking
Gumbo.
clam chowder and clam chowder in the bread bowl.
Oh yeah, right next to
now it's
Pirates
just
of the
drinks though. Mint juleps and stuff. Now it's just drinks.
Yeah, I was like, where the fuck, where is this goddamn jambalaya? Because that used to be my favorite shit. And they don't have the jambalaya anymore. Although we did, when they had those Monte Cristos that night that she was talking about, I sat down at the table and I go, I don't really want anything, but I want, can you give me, what did I order? How many? I think I ordered, how many orders did I have of 5? I said, can I have 5 orders of the gumbo? And the lady looked at me like, she's like, are you serious? And I I'm very serious.
I don't joke about these things.
We had ate at Blue Bayou that day, and I, of course I wanted to get the fillet. So I got the fillet, but I started off with a gumbo, and I was like, this is some fucking good ass gumbo. So when I saw it, I'm like, this is the same gumbo, right? I'm like, bring me 5. So I ate like 3.5 of them, 4 of them, and I'm like, can I get a to-go soda cup? And they're like,
yes.
I poured the gumbo in there because we were also trying to make it down to go see the fireworks, and then they didn't do the fireworks.
Oh, too windy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
What's up? Oh, look, there's a picture of me. Can you guys see that? Fuck.
Is that?
I'm getting glare. Let me try this. This is me in front of the. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right there. That's me in front of my 5 bowls of gumbo at Disney. Also rocking 2 lanyards at the time. Oh, dude.
Nice.
My neck is killing me.
That's a lot of pins too.
Yeah, that I have. So I'm switching my style because I can't do it. I had 4. You don't have to close the door. I had 4 lanyards, two double wide lanyards, and then 2 regular lanyards. Actually 5. Sorry, 5. So I would literally plan my outfits accordingly. Like, well, I'm gonna wear my Avengers shirt. I'm gonna wear my Avengers pins and stuff that day because I do like a bunch of pin collecting. And but I've seen a thing recently. When I was down there for that trip, I was talking to some of the the pin traders out by the outpost right there in Frontierland,
right by Big Thunder.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys do pin trading that much. I'll
Years
chop
ago.
it up with those guys for hours.
Well, next time we go to our toy show, there's always a couple booths that have a bunch of pins. You can come with us, or I'll text you a picture and you can tell me what you want.
Yeah, I have so I usually rock a Spider-Man fanny pack, and I have all my extra pins in there. So I'll bring out the bag, and like my favorite thing to do is when I'm standing in line, I'll catch little kids who are just starting their collection. You'll see they'll have the trading ones that they got with their tickets, and they'll have a couple starter pins and maybe a couple that they picked up from the store. And I'll be like, hey, did you just start collecting, bud? And he's like, yeah. I go, you want to take a look? And they'll look at my lanyard. They're like, oh my God, that's so cool. And I go, here, take one from the bag. First one's free. And then, go, and I'll be like, go over here and go trade it with somebody. Maybe they'll have something cool that you want, shit like that.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's always it's a fun thing for me because I started like that. Like, my dad gave me a couple, and then he'd take me around and we'd walk. And that was like, he didn't like riding rides and stuff. He'd get sick and shit, but that was his thing to do. So that was my thing I did with my dad.
That's so cool, dude.
I enjoy, and especially when like the parents like really don't know, like they don't have lanyards, and they're kind of, you can tell when it's a Disney person and they're like, and they know, or they're like just there with their kid.
Right.
That's awesome. That's such a cool hobby.
Yeah. And then, so I was talking to these guys, and these guys had these really cool setups. So they basically have like these binder looking things that they unzip, and they pull out like corkboard by corkboard by corkboard, and they lay them all out. And I'm like, these look really good, and they're not like gaining holes. And so they were talking to me. They're like, yeah, this is small shop out of like Florida or something like that. It's called like Go In Pro Pin or something like that. So I'm like, I'll look them up. And sure, to your text. So I'll look them up. So I go to the website. It's literally like 2 teenage girls in Florida who like started this company. So they're now they make like handbags and stuff like that, and backpacks that are like see-through, where you can put the corkboards on display and display them on your backpack. So I think I'm gonna invest in some of those.
What a cool idea,
hello, girls.
It's a hell of an idea.
Hey, you want to say hello to the friends? you can't. They can't even see you. We're talking about Disneyland. You want to tell a story about Disneyland? All right. The little ones just got home from their dad's house, so they're like,
"Aw."
Laura texted me and said, can they come say hello? And then, of course, I'm like, here you go. And they're like, Oh, I actually
Aw.
super regret this one. So
That's
so
cute.
what do you guys? So I know Jeff talks about the popcorn buckets and stuff like that with me. Do you do any like is there anything like when you're going through Disney stores that you're looking for? I do the pins. I do Disney Funkos. I do the Spirit jerseys. Is there anything that you guys specifically do besides the popcorn?
Not really. It's all about when I go now, it's pretty much what the kids want. I always have to go through the Star Wars stores, but
Yeah.
I'm never looking for anything for myself. It's like I'd love to get a lightsaber or like a salacious crumb to put on the shoulder. And like
Mhm.
that's really cool. But I don't know what I'd do with that outside of Disneyland. So
I
it's
wouldn't.
never like stuff for me. It's always what the kids want.
Yeah, I want to buy a lightsaber, but I'm not buying one from Disney.
So Eric, the one that my coworker at in the office, he actually just bought the $300 lightsaber.
Which one?
The
From
one from Star Wars Land.
Oh, was it the one that you go in and customize yourself?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
He just went and bought one, and I mentioned to him, I was like, you got to bring that in, dude. And if he does bring it in, I'll let you know, and I'll text you and be like, guy, come over and check this thing out, dude.
Check it out because I like that you can individually customize them and stuff.
Yep.
My Vicky, who I was talking about from that concert, her youngest son had one custom made, and like they hardly go to Disneyland. They do other trips and stuff. So he's like, Mom, whatever I do, I just want to go make a lightsaber. So he's like
That's
fucking,
awesome.
he's 17, he's a senior in high school. He's like, Mom, I just need to make a lightsaber. Can we please do it? So he went and did it. But I've actually found, and there's multiple websites online where if you're gonna make a customizable lightsaber and stuff, that some of these guys online who have their own companies do a better job.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it was crazy too. I was on a Tahoe trip one time, right? I'm in South Lake Tahoe. Me and my lady are walking down to the beach, and I see a guy out there with a dual saber practicing on the beach in full guard. And I'm like, brother, where did you get this saber from? And he was talking to me, and he was telling me that him and his buddy started a company that they make their own sabers from. So I started naming them off because at the time I knew like 3 or 4 of them. I know the only one I can think of off the top of my head right now is Saber Forge, but there's like 3 other ones that you can go online and customize your own one. And I nailed it. And he goes, "You actually know our company?" And I go, "Fuck yeah," because at the time I was going to invest in my own saber, and I wanted to make it fully customizable. The problem is each website that I would go build one on would come out to like $850.
Damn.
Oh,
Ouch.
dude.
But I was upgrading everything. I mean,
Of
I
course.
was getting the best actual saber part that they have with the best lights and motion effects and this and that. Well, I don't know about you guys. What's your favorite kind of hilt? Mine was the oh god, I'm blanking on his name right now. Count Dooku with the curved hilt that kind of forms into the hand.
That
And
one
it's like
was
a little
awesome.
bit longer. I
Yeah.
actually held it in the Star Wars land. I went to it and I held it and I go, if only this blade was orange like I want, I would buy it right now. But they only sell them in the colors that they have them, so that they use them. So I was like, but it's just so cool, so cool.
That's
So
awesome. They make for nice displays too.
Mm-hmm.
don't they have like a red one that's supposed to be really rare or something like that?
They have a couple. I think it was a couple weeks ago. What they're starting to do is they're starting to release. They're pulling like odd, strange ones. So at least a month or so ago, I saw on TikTok and on the forums online and stuff like that, they're releasing Guardians of the Jedi Temple specific lightsabers, right? And there's
Okay.
these really cool like tan looking things, but they're only releasing so many of them. So all day on my TikTok feed was the fucking the what do you call the influencers who do that stuff, going into the shop first thing in the morning, buying their saber and showing it off. And it was just really fucking cool. But it was like, these things were retailed at like $600. And then,
Ugh.
You're instantly online for at least $1,000. They're super cool. It's just fucking,
That's like Lino's
Yep.
sword from Thundercats.
yeah.
We found one today online for $600, dude.
Really, a
Jesus.
lino sword?
A lino sword for 600. It was like $605 or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
It was 41 inches long, dude. And I was like, man, take that off the screen. I'll be tempted.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep up with prices on other toys. I can't get into swords and lightsabers.
I can't get into swords.
And last time we went, her sister is a huge fan of Ahsoka Tano. So she's like, she's super timid. Like me, it's her first time in Star Wars land. I'm like, let's go look at the saber, and like, I'll talk to you about it. I've seen these things. I held them. So we go up in there, and she's like, oh, they're right there. She's looking at it through the gap. Ahsoka Tano 2-piece thing, blah blah blah. Looking at them, and she goes, oh, that's pretty expensive. I think it was like 100 for the big one, and then maybe like 85 for the smaller one or something like that. And she's like, okay, well, let me think about it. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow and get it. I'm like, what do you think? Like, you haven't even, I go, ask the lady to touch him. And she's like, no, I'll just think about it tomorrow. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am. Can we take a look at the Ahsoka ones? So
Nice.
she brings them over, and like she puts them in her hand. She gives them to me. I go, no. She's gonna look at him. She's like, you hold them first. I go, no, you hold them first. What are you doing? It's your stuff. So she grabs them, and the look in her face, she's just like, she's worked her whole, like, a long time knowing about this trip, just saving up enough money so she can get those things, and she's got them in her hand, and I go, just buy it. Like, what are you gonna do? Yeah, it was super cool. They did a thing where they could switch from blue to red, or no, from blue to the white color, like by syncing them or something. It was really fucking cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then the next day, because that was in like October, the next day she had kind of slept in, so we went to the park earlier, and I was like, let's go and get her the sleeves so she can slide them in and carry them around, and we'll just be like, that's for Christmas present. So she was having a ball. She was having a ball with that. It's very fun. I bought more stuff for other people on that trip.
See, and that's what it's all about, man. That's just awesome. And see, the lightsaber I grew up with was a flashlight with like this inflatable piece that went on the end of it. Like, and I thought it couldn't get any better than that. Like, now I'm like, damn, these things are awesome.
Well, dude, remember playing GoldenEye on the 64? We're like, these graphics are amazing.
You'll never get better than these graphics.
It will never get better than this.
Yeah.
Have you guys gone back and played like some of the old video games from the youth?
So we went back and we played some of the 64 games, the big four wrestling games, and those still hold up, and we still had a great time playing those. We also went back and played NBA Jam too, like a few years back, Scott, like maybe 6, 7, and that kind of held up too.
Yes. And you know what's funny? Speaking of the old graphics, they just did a thing. I forget which site it was. Might have been Bleacher Report. They had some WWE superstars, and they were showing pictures from, I think it was WrestleMania 2000 or No Mercy, one of the two. They were showing pictures of, the intro screen where it was just the guy's face.
Yeah.
They put the face up on the screen, and they're like, who's that? And there were some of them, you're like, oh my gosh, dude.
What a game.
But you know what's funny is you and I could sit there and name every single one of them.
I missed a couple of them. You know who got the most right was Imperium. Walter and his two guys, they got almost every single one of them right. Sasha Banks did horrible at it.
Oh, dude,
and then you go back and you look at him, you're like, those are awful. Like the Undertaker looks like Raven. Like, it's bad. It's really bad.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
no, because so I did this, and I think there's a difference. Like when you go back and play the old NES games and like the 64 games and the super early ones, there's a thing to it where they're basic and they were within their means. I went to they started releasing the preloaded throwback game. So I went back and I went to Walmart and bought a preloaded PlayStation 1. And I think I went to go play them, and I'm like, these games are unplayable.
They don't stand up.
I think it's because they went to the spot where the graphics were getting good, but they weren't good, and they were shooting for the stars instead of just making a game for what they had, like you did for the NES and 64 systems.
Whoa. Sega Genesis, man, we spent hours on that thing. Sega CD, we bought the Sega CD, and that thing was just horrific. But Sega Genesis, we spent hours playing. What was something Rage. What was the Rage game we played, Scott?
Oh, Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage. Thank you. We played
Yep.
that for hours. We played NHL hockey for hours.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Tons of Madden, dude. Madden galore.
NBA Live, like,
Oh,
yeah,
NBA
that was a
Live,
staple
yeah.
for us. We loved it.
Oh, dude, remember when Jordan would do the reverse layup?
You couldn't guard against that.
You could have guard against it.
Yeah.
No, there was no guard. It was like playing against Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl. There was no guarding that.
There's
Step
just some
aside.
there's just some characters like that, and I think that's fun when you talk about like old video games and like some of our heroes, and it's like some people like Bo Jackson, Tecmo Bowl, and that one, and like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. It's like some of these guys are just unbeatable.
Yes.
One of the ones I go back to is one of the early MLB games from like 2000 or 2001, where Barry Bonds did not give his license to be in the game.
Yes.
So they made
Yep.
him this random white dude who just had the most unbelievable fucking hitting ability.
Yeah, you couldn't throw anything at the plate. He would just hit it. Like you would
Yeah.
try to throw it into the crowd and he'd hit a home run.
Well, wasn't it 2003 Madden Michael Vick, where he was
Oh,
basically
yeah.
he was basically
unstoppable.
he was
was-
on the cover.
yeah, he was on
Yeah.
the cover and he was unstoppable. You couldn't like literally you had to do like 3 quarterback spies, you know. Yeah.
Yes.
Your whole linebacker core was spying him.
On the
Yeah,
line.
but
Yep.
but then he was so good at throwing that if you rush too many people, you could just fucking lob up a Hail Mary and
you
get
got
it
a wide
90%
open
of
guy.
the time. Yeah. Or like it was like if you run down here to the right and then you go up through one and back through another and then up through and then you have a clear path because all the defensive linemen are tired out behind you.
Yes.
What are we doing here? Absolutely, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I love those Tecmo Bowl videos where they're playing as Bo Jackson and he actually runs backwards across the entire field.
Yeah.
And then he'll zigzag and he'll
Yeah.
run back again and then
You
run
know-
it back for 100.
Tecmo Bowl had 2 other players that were like that, Lawrence Taylor and Walter Payton. Lawrence Taylor would just get a sack. He would just blow up your offensive line and
Yeah,
just
they-
get a sack.
Yeah, they give
Yeah.
him cocaine in the game too.
Allegedly. But Walter Payton was that same thing. I mean, he was just a badass. And then Bo Jackson just took it to a whole nother level.
Well,
You-
everybody forgets about in Tecmo Bowl. If you played as the Giants and you were on special teams blocking against a field goal or an extra point, you could be that dude at the very bottom who was faster than anybody else, and he would rush and block the field goal or the extra point every single time. Everybody
that's
forgets about that
awesome.
defensive guy. I don't even know his name, but he was awesome.
that's so fucking awesome, man. The Lawrence Taylor thing always reminds me of from the Water Boy when he does his cameo in there. And when I was a kid, I didn't realize how funny it was that he was just doing an anti-drug speech in the middle of Louisiana.
You built your career off of that. Get out of here.
Oh yeah, that was one of those jokes that you just learn after you grow up, man.
Yes.
You guys, I know you guys got to get going pretty soon here, so I want to give the opportunity for you guys. You guys have any questions or any questions for me or anything else that this has been great, and I would fucking love to do this again because I think we left tons of things on the table.
Well,
Oh,
I just
there's a
got one
bunch left.
question.
What's up?
How did you get into hair metal?
My
That's a
dad,
good question.
like my yeah, I mean, I grew up riding in my dad's truck, and my dad had all that stuff. Like
Love it.
he had Aerosmith, Motley Crue. What his best friend growing up, my godfather had like huge Guns N' Roses fan. So like I just slowly picked this stuff up at year after year, and like I'm like, I don't like this new shit. I'll just take this is the shit I like.
I love it. I was never able to get my kids into my music. So I think that that's awesome that that's where you picked it up, because by the time you started listening to music, hair metal was dead and gone, dude.
Yeah.
It died off in like 91, 92, somewhere in there.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's what I was wondering. Like, how did you get into hair metal? But I love that story, dude. That's awesome.
You were in the grunge era.
I mean, I was
Yes.
a baby during grunge. I really grew up in that Limp Bizkit area. Like I fucking love Limp Bizkit. I don't give a shit, dude. Fucking
Okay,
chocolate
so-
starfish. Got to keep on rolling, baby.
Okay, you know
So
they're
did
playing
you-
Reno this year.
I kind of want to go.
I love it.
So, do you know the band Great White?
What band?
Great White.
Great White? No, I don't know them.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna have Scott tell the Great White story. It was my very first concert. It was Trickster, or was it Firehouse, Scott?
It was Firehouse.
Firehouse, Great White, and Kiss.
Oh, that
And
sounds awesome.
it was a pretty cool concert. But Scott,
My
do you want to tell?
My dad's first concert was Kiss too, but
Oh, serious?
but like in 1970 or like 1979.
Oh, so he saw Makeup Kiss.
Yes, that was
is
Makeup Kiss.
awesome.
So we went in 93, 92 or 93, but it was after the Revenge album just came out. But Scott, do you want to tell the story about the Great White Singer?
So Great White's on the stage. Great White was a hair metal band. They had a few hits. The lead singer's on the stage and he's doing his thing and the crowd's kind of dead. Everybody's waiting for Kiss to come out. And he's up there and he's like, I want everybody. And he's looking at us, like kind of on our side of the arena, but it seems like he's looking at us and he's like, I want you guys to get up out of your seats. And I think I like flipped him off or something. And he's like, you can sit on your mother's face. And then he just goes and right back to his thing. And I look at Jeff and I'm like, did he say that to me?
That's fucking awesome.
He was looking in our direction. Like,
that's so good.
Yeah, he was great.
My first,
it's one of my favorite.
You wouldn't be able to guess in a million years my first concert.
I'm gonna go not Korn. That's too obvious.
Blink 182.
No, I'm gonna say who was Jessica Simpson?
You know what? That's not a bad guess. My first concert I went to was the Black Eyed Peas, and opening up for them was the Pussycat Dolls.
Oh, man. Did you lose a bet or something?
No, I mean I was that was when the Black Eyed Peas were super popular. Yeah. This is right after Get It Started. And
Got it. Okay.
My buddy
so you were like 10.
Yeah, I was really young. We were super young. So my buddy got tickets with his aunt, uncle, and they have 2 daughters. So mainly for them. And then they're like, we got you tickets to go for your birthday and you can bring your friend Travis. So I came along with them. And I just remember his dad or their dad, his uncle, just had binoculars. And then I'm like, what are the binoculars for? We're inside an arena. And he goes, just wait for the Pussycat Dolls come on. And the binoculars just go up onto his face. Because they literally, there was nothing on the stage. This was at Oracle Arena. It was just black, except for this huge staired podium. And then on the podium was one long ass ballet, ballet railing.
Okay.
For them to kick their legs up on and do whatever, So
he got his money worth at that show.
Well, I got my money's worth too as a 10-year-old. Yeah, I go from that to Where Is the Love,
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was really fun. Really fun stuff. All right, well, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming on again, man. Again, tell everybody where they can get all your stuff, where they can find you, websites, all that shit.
You can find us on Twitter, Snapchat, Book of Faces, which is Facebook, at FullyPoseable, Instagram, FullyPoseable, WFP. Usually I have a script in front of me, but I'm going to just freeball it tonight. You can go back and listen to any of our past podcasts on Podbean as well. You can find all 300. What episodes are we up to, Scott? 300.
Tomorrow or Thursday is 328.
328. Yeah. You can listen to all those on there if you want to. That's a lot of episodes. So, but
we got shirts.
Oh yeah. You can check us out on Pro Wrestling Tees and whatamaneuver.net. And that's
awesome.
it, man.
Awesome, guys. Scott, it's been nice to meet you. Jeff,
great meeting you too, man.
I'll see you again. We got to do this again. Everybody can go like us on Facebook, Trapdoor to Hell. Follow us on Twitter at TrapdoorPod. Email us anything you want to fucking say. If you want to talk shit to me, go ahead and do that too. That's trapdoorpod@yahoo.com. And remember, these are now going up on YouTube. So if you're listening to the audio version right now and you want to see my glorious face do this podcast, you can go to the YouTube, Trapdoor to Hell. We've got, I think, 3 of these up now. I appreciate it. Drop a like, subscribe, all that fucking bullshit. I very much appreciate all you guys. And take it easy. What